Hi, this is Kevin Trainer. Welcome to my tutorial for um, the coding assignment for serving static content with Django. This corresponds to chapter 16 of the Pinkham book, Django Unleashed, and it may or may not be combined with another coding assignment with subsequent chapters, in which case this will be part one. This is the chapter in which we add the CSS files and we configure our directories such that we can serve up static files with Django. And in this incarnation of the tutorial, I'm going to give you most of the code to do this. This is not a chapter we want to spend a whole lot of time on, and I just want you to get you to your tutorial kind of styled up, and we'll move on to further work. So, as part of that, I'm going to give you a set of starter files. Okay? And they're going to look like this. So the static files themselves will be in a subdirectory of our application called static. And our application is course info. So they'll be in course info, static course info. And we've got three style sheets. And these are the style sheets as they came from the Pinkham book. And we have a logo file, which Pinkham doesn't actually use. And so I don't use in this chapter either. And this is the logo file from the Pinkham book. Okay? And then the other thing that I'm going to give you is the templates subdirectory for the Course Info app. And it has the same templates in it that it had before, but they've been changed. So for instance, the base form, let's just open up that with our text editor and pull it over here. And what you're going to see is this is the same file that we had before, except that it now has all the CSS styling hooks in the HTML. So we have, for the enclosing div, we have a class equals container, and then we have a class for the header, and then we go on from there. Okay? There is some content in here that we borrowed from Pinkham that displays messages. I don't think we really have that code, but I left it in there anyway. And here's the content. Okay? And we've got styling hooks for the skeleton CSS framework that makes everything go. Okay, and then the other thing I did is down in the footer, in addition to the code that we had before, I put a little bit more information about the fact that we're using code from the Django Unleashed book. We're using code from the skeleton framework. We're using code from the normalize framework, and that those belong to the people who provided them. Okay, so uh, that's the base HTML page. And we'll just take a look at another one. Let's take a look at, let's take a look at instructor list. Okay. And let's open that one. And instructor list, again, it's got styling hooks that it didn't have before. Up in here with the class. It's got things that were links before. I've got styling hooks to turn them into buttons. Okay. What else have we got? And then the interesting thing is that at this point, we've got two of our list pages, the instructor list and the student list, that have pagination. So they have all this pagination apparatus on it, and we put some styling hooks on that. Class equals pagination, so they're right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy our before we do the copying, let's take a look at the application as it is before we style it up. Okay, so this is what it looked like the last time that we did this, and of course we've got the pagination here, so we can go through the instructors. And if we go to students, we've got pagination on that. Okay, but the rest of the list, sections, no pagination, courses, no pagination, semesters, no pagination. Okay, so we have all that. So let's close that, and let's go to take a look at our code. And what we're going to do is let's just get rid of these template files, and then we'll replace them. Okay, so these are our template files, and I'm going to delete them. Okay, and we're going to say delete them anyway. And then I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to take the template files from my starter files directory, and I'm going to copy them. There are 30 of them, oddly enough, and I'm just going to put them right where the old ones were. So I'm going to paste them and just say OK, and now we have all these back. Templates, course info, and these are all proper. One of the things I wanted to show you was if we pick a list that's not paginated, you'll notice that we don't have the pagination apparatus at the bottom of the template. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so we've got that. And then let's see what we get. So we have our templates subdirectory. And now what we need to do is we need to add the static subdirectory. And so I'm just going to copy that from my starter files and go up and put it in the course info app. So I'm just going to paste that and say OK. And now I've picked up all of these files as well. All right, so that's looking pretty good. All right, now, are these things configured to work for us? Well, let's just go down and take a look at our, within this Easy University directory, we have our settings.py. And let's just make sure that we have everything that we need to hook this stuff up. So under the installed apps, we already have the contrib application called static files. So that makes sense. So that's a part of what we need, we already have. And then let's just go down to the end, and we have a variable static URL, and we're saying that, to find the static files within the application directories, they are in the static subdirectory of the application directory, and that's just the way it should be. So there we go. So I'm just going to pause here, and I'll be right back. Hi, I'm back. So I was a little suspicious that without restarting my server that I was not going to get all the styling I wanted. And that's what happened to me. So I'm glad I didn't waste a lot of your time on that. But if you already have your server started, you're going to want to stop it. And in this case, I can stop the server. And sometimes, by just stopping the server there, it stops right away. Other times, I have to try a couple times to start it. And what I do is I wait and I look at my activity monitor on my Mac, and I wait for Python 3.6 to go away. And it's just so happening that it's not going away. So I'm going to go out and I'm actually going to stop the server manually. Okay. Hang on. There we are. I'm just going to stop that that process. And that one's gone. And then I'm going to start it again by going out to Tools, Run Manage Py.task. And now when I do the run server, I've got a fresh copy of everything loaded. And that's going to do what I want. So when I go in here, I've got styling. Okay. And of course, you're going to want to test this. So you're going to want to, let's see, we're in the section list and then section detail. And I'm not saying this is great styling. This is just what I got when I applied the style from the Pinkham book, but you're not having to code it, so you're probably going to be pretty happy about that. So if we want to create a new section, we do that. That's all pretty styled. One thing that's a little gummed up, I found, is let's say we go to create a new section. So let's create a section 888 and fall 2020 for Infost 780. And we can click down in here. Now, if we want to find trainer Kevin, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I messed that again, so let's go back. Trainer Kevin. All right, now click outside and come over here. Now, if I want to get a bunch of students, I'm really only seeing them one at a time. All right, now that's probably something in terms of the styling that could be better. Okay, so we've got that. And then I guess we can go down one. And if we do a create section, what do we get? We get the second persons. We're only adding them one at a time. And that's it's going to take some repairing, but not something I have the energy to do today. Perhaps you'd like to do it and share it with the rest of the class. I'd be glad to see that. Okay, so that's the sections let's look. The instructors are here. You can come down and see they're properly paginated. Everything's going well there. The instructor detail, again, not super pretty, but it gets the job done. We can edit an instructor. We can go back. We can ask to delete an instructor. We can do the whole bit. So we've got the styling, and again, you can do your testing. When I converted all these pages, I borrowed the styling hooks from the Pinkham book, and I put them into Surround the code that we had in the last version of our solution, and I tested them, and the whole thing works. Now, I'm going to want to test yours when you submit it, so make sure that you have all of the parts in here and they're all working before you consider it done. Okay, so that's it for this part of the assignment. Okay, we've got things all styled up. When you go on to the next part, we're going to the next thing we're going to be working on is generic class-based views, and that's where the actual work's going to happen. So I'm going to say bye until then. Bye-bye.